Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, entitled mom calls cops after I body slam her son because he hit my autistic brother. Entitled mom harasses us for months, buried my car in the snow, then threatens police action when I finally stick up to her. My entitled mom steals my inheritance. Now she probably is going to prison. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled mom calls cops after I body slam her son because he hit my autistic brother. Okay, so basically I 16M took my 10-year-old brother out for the day. Everything was going well until we decided to go get some boba. Now my brother's autism is a bit severe, and he tends to just randomly scream here and then. So while we were waiting in line, he did just that and scared this kid in front of us who was with his mom. This made him drop his boba. I tried to apologize on my brother's behalf, explained his condition, and even offered to pay him for another. The mother, though, started lashing out and said some seriously messed up stuff like, "I don't want your money, you should use it for your brother's therapy," and "he deserves to be in a mental hospital," all because her kid, who was actually like 14 or 15, got scared and dropped his boba. I was about to leave with my brother in disgust when this guy takes a swing at my brother and hits him in the chest. I wasn't gonna do nothing to that, and I swore he was about to take another swing, but before that I grabbed him and slammed him on one of the tables. Then the mom started screaming louder than a WW2 siren and told people around that I just assaulted her son, who apparently had anger issues. When I saw her calling the cops, I just laughed and went to check on my brother, who was crying and yelling in pain, since nobody ever hit him that hard before. I wasn't worried because the place had cameras and witnesses who clearly saw how demented they were. Fast forward a month, she's now facing a $2,000 fine, and her son was put back on probation. For that kid's safety, I hope I never see him again. Fast forward a month, she's now facing a $2,000 fine, and her son was put back on probation. Wow. So basically, he knew he needed to keep his nose clean, but he went for it anyway.
Yang.
Good on you for protecting your brother. Like the woman in Coyote Ugly at the end of the movie, LOL. So this kid was 14 to 15 years old, had anger issues, and already had a criminal record/offense which he was on probation for? The mom is either demented, in serious denial, or straight up projecting. And that kid needs some serious therapy/help soon, since he's obviously not getting any from his mom. Or else he's going to end up as a career criminal if he only understands the language of violence. So basically, having autism, your brother should be locked away because of his condition, but her son, who has a record, he should be allowed to do whatever he wants. Wow. A 15-year-old punching a 10-year-old? What a little shit. Entitled mom harasses us for months, buried my car in the snow, then threatens police action when I finally stick up to her. Kinda brief, important backstory. I live in an apartment complex directly outside of the largest college campus in the US, so it's 99% students. Cost of living isn't cheap, but convenient for students who walk to class, so most people who aren't students choose to live in better areas further away. As for the quality of our apartment, it's truly a waste of money. We've lived here a couple years now and have had awesome neighbors and no complaints of noise. I have an upper and lower neighbor and can barely hear the upstairs neighbor ever, and I know they party in their apartment. This mother moved in with her 3 kids a couple months ago and have been nothing but trouble for everyone around them in the complex, specifically my boyfriend and I, because we live right above her. We both work full-time and are students and rarely have company over. But if we do, there's maybe 1 to 2 people. The weekend she moved in, we had 1 friend over, weren't watching TV, weren't drinking, and were just chilling on the couch chatting at a totally reasonable sober volume. I haven't met her at this point, and she spent nearly an hour banging on her ceiling continuously. Eventually, my BF went downstairs to ask if everything was okay, and she ripped him a new one. Her kid's bedtime is at 8 p.m. We shouldn't be talking and laughing this late, etc. Whatever. We just assumed we were louder than we thought and tried to quiet down. 20 minutes passed, and she was banging on the ceiling again. I know we were talking normally, and I know the walls aren't that thin. We decided to just go out to the bar to hang because this lady was obviously stressed, and it wasn't worth it. Fast forward a couple days. My boyfriend had to work at 5 a.m. He gets up at 4 and gets in the shower. She started banging on the ceiling again. It was enough to wake me up. Like most, I don't want to be woken up at 4 a.m. and after banging on the ceiling for 5 minutes straight, I go down there and ask her what's wrong. She said my boyfriend turning on the shower woke up her entire family. I apologized and said that he has to work soon and that's something that will happen frequently, and that while I can hear the water in other apartments as well, it's so subtle that it's barely noticeable. She started to go off about how they had to wake up for school soon and just moved from an actual detached home. She said that in a super yikes tone, and that her family isn't used to hearing other people shower. So we had to do our showering before 7 p.m. each night or she would email our landlord. I mentioned that our classes/jobs usually go way past that, but realized it was a lost cause when she obviously didn't give a shit. Anyways, BS like this continued. I would see her and her kids walking in the hall and would smile and say hello at her and the kids, and she would literally shield them from me and run away. Not that it matters, but I'm a 22-year-old girl with a frickin' lame-ass backpack who just seems like any other normal person. Nothing to be shielded from. Anyways, sorry for the length, but here's the kicker. I was woken up last week from more bangs on the ceiling. It was 3 a.m. and I tried so damn hard to just go back to sleep, because we were sleeping obviously. No TV on or anything. The knocking continued, and I actually got nervous that she needed help or something. I woke my boyfriend up, a deep sleeper, and said I was worried, and he said he's done checking on her, for multiple reasons lol, and to just go back to sleep. I couldn't sleep and thought since we weren't making noise, maybe she needed help. I went down there and knocked on the door. She opened it, and I swear to everything, blurted out, "You wench." Literally, "You wench." I was obviously appalled, not even because I was half asleep, and just sheepishly asked if she was okay or needed something. She said snoring has kept her and her children up all night. I kid you not, I watched her go to her couch, it was in perfect view of the front door, and grab a sleeping baby/toddler off of it and scream, "Hes been up for hours because somebody in your apartment won't stop snoring." The baby definitely looked like it was very asleep when she grabbed him, and I just went off. I don't know exactly what I said, but it was basically about how she's crazy for expecting other people to not be human and make human noises when she moves into an apartment. I don't like confrontation, so my version of going off was more like nervously saying it how it is. She then told me to come in to listen to my boyfriend snore, and I stepped in a tiny bit and didn't hear shit. Like I said, I'm a light sleeper. My boyfriend breathes heavily, but in no way does he really snore. I couldn't hear a thing from her apartment. I told her that and she got mad, told me to step in her bedroom and sit on the bed, and that I could hear it much better. I obviously refused and left. The next day, my car was entirely buried in snow. I'm from out of state and mentioned that to her before, so she knew me from my license plate. I tried to shrug it off, even though it was obviously intentional due to the amount of snowfall and what was on my car, not to mention the shovel-cleared parking lot all directed towards my car and her being the only neighbor who has beef, and called my job to tell them I'd be late. As I kid you not, my car was literally under a mound. 2 days later, it happened again. I was so frustrated that I took all the snow from my car and put it into a pile, Then after class/work at night completely buried her car. She has since contacted the landlord apparently and won't stop banging on my ceiling again all night. Like it's almost like she doesn't sleep. She told my neighbor, who also knows she's whack and has lived here as long as we have. And he told me that she said I made her kids miss school and the district is so mad that I need to contact them to explain the situation. This happened 2 days ago, and I woke up to a handwritten note today under my door saying she has photos and will be filing a police report for vandalism, and if her kids get in trouble for missing school, I will be at fault. I'm so non-confrontational and pissed off that I just want to ignore her, but she's getting way too crazy. Edit. A couple of people have mentioned reporting her to our landlord, which we haven't formally done. Our landlord is super cool with us and is hands down the best landlord ever, but we casually mentioned it before it started to get out of hand. I'm not too worried about her affecting our landlord's opinion of us, thankfully, but I'm definitely considering filing a formal written complaint with him. Sucks because she has 3 little absolutely adorable kids, and I'm not trying to get them thrown out. Call your landlord. File a complaint. Yes, she will know it's you, but every time she bangs on her ceiling, let the landlord know. She will not stop, so you need to start the complaint train now. I've been thinking about it. Luckily, my landlord is super chill, and we really get along well and have for years, so I haven't been worried about her giving us a bad rep or anything with him. After this, though, I'm definitely considering formally filling him in. We've briefly spoken about it before back when we were shrugging it off, but it's definitely getting ridiculous. She's trying to drive you out of the apartment because that's the only way she gets zero noise, and zero noise is what she wants. You're going to have to fight back, and against a crazy neighbor like this, you're going to be in it for the long haul. People like this are vindictive, persistent, and will stop at nothing to get what they want. Start documenting every interaction with her, photograph all evidence, be as specific as possible. When you say she was banging on your ceiling all night, what times did you notice? If she does it again, note down the time every time you're awoken by banging. Also, keep that handwritten note. That's a good piece of evidence as well. Once you have a good amount of evidence, talk to a lawyer about getting a restraining order. My entitled mom steals my inheritance. Now she probably is going to prison. So, this might be my last update on the mess with my mother and stepbrother since we're finally starting the legal fights, but I finally had a good laugh. In my previous posts, I haven't said a lot about my biological father. He died when I was 1 year old, so I never really met him. I have one picture of him holding me when I was an infant. I mostly know him from stories from his family. What I do know is he was a man of means. He had a lot of assets that he had carefully divided in his will. Not like so rich I'll never have to work type. Just rich enough that I would be able to live comfortable so long I worked and did right by my finances. I was not aware he had made sure to leave me with anything. Neither did my half-brother Sam, his son with his first wife. I'm the daughter of an affair partner turned second wife. My understanding was that anything I inherited was wasted by my mother to buy things for her predator stepson Chris, who she prefers to me. He was my abuser growing up. In her words, daughters don't need inheritance. Just marry a wealthy old man like me. Well, since my mother and Chris have been harassing me lately, we drove to my dad's lawyer to get some things we need for my dad's records for the lawsuit we are planning. He's a sweet older man, kinda looks like my dad a bit, and was my dad's best friend. When we met, he received me with a hug and told me how happy he was to finally meet with him. His wife was there too, and she also gave me a big hug and told me we needed to have dinner at their place. Once we all caught up, we found my mother had been faking receipts to get money from my trust. A lot of it. Some of it from when I was under Sam's guardianship. And she's not the executor of my trust. She had to provide receipts for anything. She's been sending receipts for me because I'm still in medical school. I finished school in 2021. Well, her meal ticket not only got torn, and now she's in big trouble. Because this is fraud, and basically my hands are tied about pressing charges or not. She claims me as a dependent on her taxes, so my dad's lawyer would refund her for her expenses. He basically told me there's just no way we can keep this just in civil court. He had to contact IRS and the police. Doesn't help she's been using my social security number for some things she shouldn't. Thank you for the people that advised me to freeze my credit. You guys saved me for sure. I probably won't be able to post for quite a while, and I'm going to be incredibly busy. I'm just mentally exhausted about how much has happened. I wouldn't have done anything about my mom using my trust if she had left me alone. I wouldn't even know about it because the trust is set for me to take over it with proof of marriage or graduating college. And since I didn't know about it, I never sent the required paperwork to take control. She could have milked it dry if she left me alone and just kept sending fake information. I am in the process to get what's left of my trust. There's quite a bit in it and should be enough for me to get a house or condo if I mix it with my savings and still have left over to invest or do other things safely. I might wait for a while to buy anything though. I don't know how safe it would be since my mom still has my social security number. Honestly, I'm a little surprised she hadn't already used any of the money she already stole to pay off his student loans. Op, I can only recommend that you use some of that money to outfit your new home with the top-notch security system. Once you have access to your trust, you've cut off her money and that matters more anything. It may tip her over the edge. Mom probably saw that trust as her meal ticket. She cares about the beloved SS, but not enough to give him money she sees as hers. That's why she's demanding OP pay off his debts. OP doing it doesn't hurt her financially. That and pulling a sum that large from the trust would likely raise suspicion, and they would request verification, which would have brought her fraud to light. Mom's gravy train with biscuit wheels ran out of bacon tracks. It will be interesting to see what her consequences are. Let justice prevail. FXCK. I'm hungry now. You could be magnanimous and let mommy dearest off, but I'm all for people getting what they earn. It seems as if she has earned a prison stint. To you, be healthy and happy. You could be magnanimous and let mommy dearest off, but I'm all for people getting what they earn. It doesn't sound like OP can drop any charges. Mom didn't just defraud OP, she defrauded the IRS and the executor of the trust, or the trust itself. Not sure if that's a thing. She committed identity theft. She's in trouble for sure. As OP says, it's largely out of her hands, and the big guns are going after Mom now. Op, I hope she gets all the consequences she deserves, and you get all the justice that you deserve for dealing with all the mess and harassment. Whatever you do, listen to the attorneys and don't say a word to your mother. I'm so glad you've been given good advice here. Don't feel guilty. Stealing from your children is the worst thing people can do. This isn't breaking open a piggy bank to buy milk and food. It's robbing your inheritance to buy junk for the person who abused you. Let her do the time, whatever it may be. Well, sounds like mommy dearest may get what's coming to her. Good luck getting through all this. I'm actually due an inheritance in a few days from my deceased mother, and I'm a daughter, so what she said about that is a load of crap. I'm sorry you're having to go through this. I hope you manage to nail her and your pedo stepbrother to the wall and get back every penny that your mother stole from you. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.